You're recording?
Okay. Okay. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Seaside School District 10. All of our members are present. And we just have one change to the agenda. It's technically agenda item 2.1.5. Trissa Como has withdrawn her application, so we will not be interviewing her tonight. Other than that, we are here to interview all the other candidates for our open position. Right? Maybe are you? Thank you. Oh. Okay. So we just have a few questions for you. Take your time. Okay. We're gonna kind of go around and ask you questions and appreciate your answers and questions. Great. Yes. Okay. Number one. Please share your involvement with community members of the Seaside School District. How has this helped you learn more about our community strengths and needs?
Well, I have been a member of the budget committee for the last 2 years. So I've learned some of the community's concerns through that. I also have a child enrolled at the elementary school, 2nd grade, and he's a little bit special needs. So I get a little bit of how they work through that through his in school, and they've been great. And then I work for Escape Lodging in Cannon Beach. Been there 10 years as controller. So I've gotten to know a lot of our staff and folks there, what their concerns are and happiness level with the district.
My reading voice is a little strange. What is your vision for the future of our school district, and what steps do you think are necessary to achieve it?
I think primarily because I have a fiscal background, making sure that the district stays responsible with their finances, maintaining proper reserves, not reserving too much to make sure the money is spent on the kids that are being funded today, and then also reserving in case of emergency, because they come up often, as we know, in this field. So just making sure staff are happy, kids are happy, and the money is being taken care of properly.
So along with that, as a legacy fellow budget committee member, how do you balance those two things with the needs, limited resources, and then also the needs?
Right. So I think listening to your staff and what they need and what you're hearing from them, and also listening to the policies that you have set in place, because they do have good policies here for that. I've learned that over the last couple of years, that it seems like we can also trust the staff that we have here in the district office, that they're going to be pretty responsible for the most part and follow the policies that are in place.
What is one area where you believe the school district could grow or improve?
I guess that was a hard one for me, because I haven't personally ran into a lot of issues in the district, but I do know last winter there was some concerns about safety of the staffing, and I know because my little one kind of has behavioral issues, there are safety issues in that the staff have concerns, and I've heard them personally from the staff members, and just making sure that those policies are in place to protect staff and make sure that classrooms are safe from those children that are acting out, and making sure that staff is there to support it. finding a balance in what you're hearing from the teachers and the students and the parents. It seems like it was well addressed by the board when it came up last winter.
How could the school board approach that work?
And that's not something I have the experience with because I haven't been part of the board. I think ensuring that there's policies in place to maintain those staffing levels that are necessary for the teachers to feel like they have the support they need. So having the right aides in the classrooms. I know my son's class has a couple, and I'm sure they're consistent and paid well, because I think that living here on the coast, it's difficult. I know I haven't lived here all my life, and cost of living is high, and making sure that people like are able to make a good living and want to stay here is hard, because it's not always the most pleasant place to live. So, so making sure they're happy is important too, and that they don't move on to the next district that's going to pay them more. Making sure that turnover is too high.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, this position is up in 2027.
Correct.
Okay,
So it would be the May election. That's right, May election. But this position will have to run again in May.
yeah. And what kind of training program is there for a new board member? Because
There's definitely an onboarding process. Susan can speak to that a little bit, but you know, you get invited in and meet with Susan and Leslie and usually Tony. Kind of learn about, well, we kind of know about the budget, which is helpful, but learn about the budget and policies, and so there's definitely an onboarding.
I can answer, I'm pretty good. OSBA has a lot of stuff available online, and it answers a tremendous amount of your questions, and has some training, workshop type things as well. So there's a lot of stuff available, it just depends on how much you feel like you need.
Yeah.
You can kind of pick and choose. A smorgasbord.
it's a lot.
And we do once a year go to the annual convention in Portland, so that's a great education for us also. We do while we're on the board, so.
That's November, right?
November.
Yeah.
November, first weekend.
Football.
Yeah.
And then every board member is on the superintendent advisory committee. And this position serves on the academic achievement with Chuck, and it's an area to kind of specialize in one area.
Right.
And we meet once a month for that.
That'd be interesting to learn. I know the budgets, I really don't know a piece of it. Yeah. Well, I just think I have a finance background, I have a school district background, I had 10 years school district in California, and I just feel like I could serve the community in a bigger way, and excited to be considered. So.
Thank you so much.
Squirrel.
Goodbye.
Adams. Let's see that. Oh.
Oh, they are, they're like, really off their way.
No, there were some there, so.
You never had Mr.
No.
Maybe just for the public, just to let them know that our next interview is scheduled for 7:20, so, we'll have a little lull. And
We're going early.
Great,
I can definitely wait.
Yeah,
No,
are you guys
no.
ready? No, we're good. Okay.
All right, you're ready.
Yeah.
You were
We
ready.
were just gonna say
Well, I
that.
read my third question yet, but I still read it.
You want a couple of seconds?
It's okay.
It's up to you.
I have pigs
I know.
delivering, so I have to plot my barn right now.
Like, we're gonna be online, I might use you. We should.
You wouldn't want to see what's happening right now. Maybe you would.
All right, we have Kelsey, that's our 7:20, we're just going a little bit early. So, have questions, but we're gonna put them.
Okay,
Okay, all right, so please share your involvement with the community members of the Seaside School District. How has this helped you learn more about your community, strengths, and needs?
So I've been involved with the community members in a variety of ways. So I was born and raised in the area, graduated from Seaside High School. So I have known many teachers, known many families that have been in the area. I've also been a nurse in our community for 20 years. So a lot of the students going through, I've actually been part of their deliveries and watched them grow and get to be a part of that. I have two kids in the school district, one actually graduated and one is a junior. So we've been involved locally with them. They were very active in sports. So we were part of lots of weekend tournaments, basketball and softball. I'm also a member of the Boosters Committee. I've been on that for 3 years, so I've done lots of fundraising. So I got to go out with businesses and see how the boosters are raising money for activities at the schools. And got to be a part of the graduation committee. So we got to lots of involvement with community members there asking for support. But mainly my involvement with the school district is just being a part of it. And I've lived here my whole life. So I feel like I've got a lot of relationships with different people and a variety of ages. My sister also lives here. So we've got kids that are different sides. So even though I've got one that's graduated, I'm still going to sports and seeing a lot of community members that way.
Great.
Okay. The next question is, what is your vision for the future of our school district? And what steps do you think are necessary to achieve that vision?
So my vision for the Seaside School District is to not only see them like strive in the community, but at a statewide level. So reading about graduation rates and education. I'd like to see us be higher on that list than we are. So I will be 100% transparent. I'm not sure exactly what happens behind the scenes as far as like the board and the school and what they look at. So I don't know what that looks like and how to make that happen. But I'm willing to be a part of the solution to see what we can do for that. I think we need to try and figure out a way to attract some qualified staff to an expensive area here. I think I've been just reading about negotiations that are happening. I've been part of hospital stuff, so I know how negotiations go on both sides. But I think coming up with a competitive way and a collaborative way so that we're not looked at negatively in the state is important. And to not just offer bare minimum things here at Seaside, but like excel at a state level, not just for activities, but sports and educational opportunities.
Sorry, I'm next.
That's okay, because I haven't read this question yet. So.
Okay, you can read that.
Read it while he's writing.
Okay. So two-part question. What is one area where you believe the school district could grow or improve? And how could the school board approach that work?
I guess as a parent currently, one thing that I foresee that the school district could grow on or improve would be outreach to parents and being transparent. I know that we have the like social media type things where they send out the mass blast, but to actually make it be a more known presence of what the school board is actually talking about at their meetings, because I have no clue. I know I could go to the website and go look at the meetings and stuff, but like to actually make it more of a community known thing. Like, what is the board facing? What challenges are there? What do we need money for to make things better at the school? And not put the burden necessarily on the community to go figure those things out, because you're not probably going to have a lot of people that want to go looking for it. So maybe Have that maybe be, I don't know if it's social media, if it's talking to the students more about what happens at the board meetings. I know when I was in high school, I was required to go to some board meetings, so it was kind of nice. 'Cause you don't know what happens at these meetings, and I can honestly tell you, the board meetings I went to were like, oh, can you please come because X, Y, or Z is being talked about tonight, not like the broader picture of what the board's actually discussing and things that they're challenging facing. So maybe just figure out a way to be more transparent with community members on what the topics are, where the challenges are that you're facing. I don't know how to solution to it though. Just maybe somehow be able to put that out there that it's seen more. Do you have any questions, Spence? I don't think so. Well, the meetings were set usually, except for like special meetings, correct? Correct. So the third Tuesday of every month. Okay, 6 o'clock. Yes, December. Except December, when we switched because of concerts and things. Okay, yeah. We try to not conflict with their concerts. And yeah. In July and non-election. Oh, yeah, no meeting in July. Okay, and this position will require you, I mean, if you wanted to continue on, you have to run in May. 2027, about this time. Okay. No, okay. Yeah.
And then also wanna, so go ahead, Chuck, you got it.
Yeah, there's another meeting too. That's the official board meeting that each of us are on. And so there's a committee meeting once a month as well.
Okay.
You will be on the committee with me if you were chosen.
Uh-huh.
And that is the third Monday. Yeah, same week as the board meeting, so that if you're traveling or something. At least it's all in the same
Like
week.
together, okay.
Yeah.
As a nurse, we have patterns, and so as long as I can know ahead of time, I can try and, I can work my schedule around it, but.
Yeah, that would be, that's morning. And of course, the board meeting, so.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
Have a good night. Okay, our next interview is scheduled for 7:40. Yeah.
Are they here? I think.
We are.
Now. Oh, he's not here?
He's here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's here. I'll check
Yeah.
in. Check in. Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember her?
I didn't remember her. That doesn't mean she wasn't good. I don't always remember.
Yeah. It's hard to remember.
And
You taught how many years?
36.
Oh, yeah.
12 of them were the 7th grade level, so those will change.
Just not here, so it's gonna look at the questions.
No, it's okay.
I will make a note that on the agenda, I misspelled our fourth candidate's name. It's Justin, not Justine.
So no E.
No E. My apologies to Justin.
Two eyes and no. For a while.
I'm still excited to see what's in this year. I've been saying it like all day. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Big one.
No.
No.
Yeah, we have Rams, when Rams allowed. One of them. Really wouldn't like.
Also, when Shannon, during my interviews, I always looked at her, it was so like, I felt like comfortable talking to her. I don't know if I freaked you out, because I kept looking at you, answering
I
to
don't
you,
remember
and no one else in the room.
We were talking earlier about how cold
Oh my
and
gosh.
wet it was that night. We were at Gerhart Elementary.
So cold in there.
Well, in the weather was just really cold and pouring down rain.
Fun to be at school, but it was cold. It's freezing in there. And they hadn't turned me down in months.
Why did you guys choose that location?
Because we were doing community engagement in your heart.
Combined.
Yeah, I was trying to see if, just get information out there about what the school board does and what we're about. And so we put stuff out there and nobody showed me that one.
Oh, so it was terrible.
Yeah, and then we had one in Cannon Beach and we had like 6 people there.
That's a
And then we-
good draw at that
then we
one.
went to one, we tried to have one in Seaside at the coffee house, but it got snowed out.
Yeah, I think that had to be
And then
rescheduled
we, and it just didn't, yeah. Just didn't happen, so.
Too many things that slowed down.
And that's,
Not this year.
the last couple of years.
Pretty mild.
What was going on, so, or there's a wet, not weather,
We're gonna
that
get weather.
that was my goal, as my board chair was, community engagement, board information.
We had the biggest draw was in Cannon Beach.
It was good. To the place where you're on the streets for a little while. It's great. Good that. Yeah.
All right. So Derek, we're back. So. Being here.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get right into it.
Sure, fire away.
Please share your involvement with community members of the Seaside School District. How has this helped you learn more about our community's strengths and needs?
Well, recently just started working with ESS down at the elementary school, getting involved with that. Started with that in, I want to say about October, and really just kind of leaning into that and just learning a little bit more about how the school district stuff. We got 2 boys in the school district. I go Jude in 7th grade and Blake's freshman, and so just reaching out, branching out a little bit. The school district stuff would be definitely new to me. But it's something that I feel pretty strong about. I've been able to actually increase the ESS staff. I've got 3 of my employees that work for me now work through the school district. So they were excited to learn about it and do some new things. So now they're working as a substitute aides up in Astoria and 2 down here in Seaside. So yeah.
Well, you're losing points for going to a store.
I know, I tried to tell Erin it's way cooler down here, but you know, she really did one day up there and really enjoyed it, so.
Can you expand on why are you?
You know what, I wish I had a great answer for it, it just kind of called to me, I would drive by, I saw a posting, for ESS when I would drop the boys off in the morning, and it's just like, oh, you know, that seems something kind of cool, and started asking different questions, you know, to figure out what I was gonna, how I could even approach it, or if that's something I could even be qualified to do. And I talked to Jeff Roberts about that a little bit, and a couple other people, and just dove in head first and just absolutely loved it. And took whatever the first job that was there, and it was in in one of their sped classes. So my first day I was working with 6 of the nonverbal children, and there was 4 of us in there, and it was pretty amazing, pretty humbling. And so ever since then, I try to pick up as many days as I can, get those little alerts on your phone, and but usually by the time I go more than 5 minutes now, it seems like it's gone. So yeah, so that's what, you know, in learning that process through ESS, they say, you know, there's constantly a need for teachers for help for substitutions. I think they said they have sometimes up to 2,000 availabilities a day in the Oregon area. So just trying to do my little part with there, and yeah, so it's just something new, something different. I've been working with kids mostly on the sporting side. I've been coaching my children and other people's children for 15 plus years. And so, you know, my boys are getting older, and it's time to kind of figure out what I want to be when I grow up, and been kind of leaning in this direction. And I've got my business set up to where it needs to be, where I can really just kind of, I've got great staff, and I can put myself out there more in the community to do different things. So we got a nonprofit in Gearhart by the Sea Sanctuary. So we take in farm animals and foster other animals and things like that. Kind of my wife's passion project, but do a lot of cleaning of the stalls and the feedings and things of that nature. It kind of falls on me, but she gets all the setup and the donations and things like that. So, but yeah, but to go back to your question, it just kind of was there, reached out to me, and I grabbed onto it, and you know, I loved it. And so so when this opportunity came, I was like, you know, why not go for it? I mean, I'm sure you guys got a lot of people, or you know, other great people that maybe have more experience or different things like that, but you know, sometimes coming in fresh with no good or bad habits, I can work together with you guys and you know, kind of go in with a fresh start. So
Maybe habits, got it.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. Take it apart, Jay. Take it apart, Jay.
Onto the
So Michael Scott approach, yeah.
The second question is, what is your vision for the future of our school district? What steps do you think are necessary to achieve it?
You know, looking at these questions from the outside looking in, I find them kind of tough to answer these ones without being in the district. So, I mean, the 2 things I think is just having access to classes to kind of get the kids more involved or ready for the real world outside of just going to class, passing your government, science, English, whatever the case may be. It doesn't seem like there's as much as it used to be. Maybe growing up when we were in school, you would take a home ec class and an automotive and a wood shop and whatever the case may be, computer repair. Don't currently think there's all of those, but maybe if there's a way to get access to those, if that's something that's an option, then I think that would be really good. I believe in the freshman orientation, the kids are now starting to take a class that will help them with taxes or credit score or something. It's a mandatory class that they have to graduate, which I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, people don't use checkbooks anymore, but balancing a checkbook, paying your taxes, doing those types of things. I think that's really, really important versus, you know, the day you graduate high school and you go to your senior party at the Shiloh, and the next day you got to be a grown up. So, so that was pretty interesting. So, yeah, but and I wrote down some AP classes. I don't think I know there's stuff you can do to get to the college level, but again, trying to answer that question without knowing what's there is kind of tough, but yeah, it's tough.
What is one area where you believe the school district could grow or improve, and how could this school board approach that work?
I mean, it's circle back to what I just said, but yeah, I mean, without, without being in it, it would be, I don't have that knowledge. I'm not that involved in the school board aspect or have heard of things that could grow or improve, but just working together with the board, setting goals, accomplishing them. I mean, I think that's a huge thing, working together. I've always had very easy time working with people. And I've worked places where I've been working with 200 plus employees, and I've had places where I've had 2 employees, and setting those goals and budgets, and whether it's on the financial side or actually going out and doing the work. I've always had very good success with that. So that's what I would bring to the board. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for?
Nothing, just figured I'd give it a go and
Yeah.
come see all you and meet some new people and see some more faces, and I'm sure whatever decision you guys make is the right one for the community. So yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, absolutely. All right, guys. All right, thanks a lot. Well, hold on to my notes here.
Yep.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. You've never been able to schedule ever.
Well, we got here, so.
Yeah.
So our next candidate is at 8 p.m. I know, they have been rolling in early.
Which is a good sign.
Justin's helping coach 5th grade girls basketball too. He only has 2 boys, so it's, I
Derek.
just, sorry, Derek, sorry, Derek, yeah, I was like, I saw him, I was like, he said, his daughter, I didn't know about. It's just coach him, just help him.
Just, you know,
Yeah.
For anyone who didn't know, ESS, which you referred to a number of times, is our substitute services provider. So they're the contractor we use for sub services. Probably figured that out, but
Do you have to have a teaching degree to be, if you're just being an assistant, you're going to teach them read to be an ESS system?
Correct.
So he
so,
would
I
have
mean,
to,
we get licensed substitutes through ESS as well as maybe food service subs, educational assistant, classroom subs. So, yeah, all different kinds of subs.
so if he were to be chosen, he would not be able to be part of ESS then, in our district or.
Actually, he would, because ESS would be his employer.
Okay,
When I came on the board, they said I couldn't sub
I
anymore.
remember that. That was when we hired our own subs. I
We didn't
think
contract
through
with
through the they were
Maybe.
contracted through the ESD, but we wrote the check.
You're right, yes, yes. Well, then I couldn't do it anymore. Maybe I can go back.
Yeah. Oh, I started in school in California with studying construction.
I used to go in. Yeah.
I could. Well, I called to Justin. I don't know if he lives close. He's probably already on the way, but
I think we're good.
Can we? Like switch the, like, move on and talk about. That's
That's
really on the
the
agenda while we're waiting.
Sure,
I think we
I don't see
absolutely
why not.
should, right? Okay. Yep. And then we'll just. Talk if he, when he arrives. Okay. So next thing on our agenda is recognizing staff. And that was big on your list.
Yeah, just speak to it. I thought they did a really good job with their middle school kiddos and showing a lot of the metrics that they really exceeded and did well. Felt like it was good. A good idea for us to recognize that hard work.
And I agree, well, I agree with you on that too, but the month before, I feel like Pacific Ridge gave a really good report too on their reading and math improvements. You know, so I wouldn't want to like just do middle school, I like maybe recognizing staff in general.
Teacher of the month situation, what do we do for like teacher of the month? You know what I'm saying? It's
We have staff appreciation month.
right, but is there something that we could do as a board to be like, hey, we really want to nominate this person as their. You know, maybe try to nominate 3 people and figure out who's gonna be, you know, have a teacher of the month, something that stuck out. Staff, I suppose, yeah.
Staff I can recognize,
Well,
we might appreciate.
well, when we have, food. When we have, I mean, the buildings kind of do their own kind of staff appreciation week, and usually they work with the PTO, and they usually provide like meals for them that week, and they do some other things like 1 year, the PTO at Pacific Ridge like rented this massage chair that they put in the staff room, and then they just ended up keeping it, it's still in there now, you know, so, you know, they try to do fun things like that, you know, like, and they try to do something each day, you know, like they'll do a coffee hopper, or they'll have plants for them, or, you know, they'll offer lunch, and they'll just do a variety of things for them. You know.
I guess maybe the question is it meaningful for us as school board members to recognize?
Very difficult. Being outside, we're not inside. So. Recognition's a double-edged sword, because the person recognized might feel really good. But the person who isn't recognized feels like, I don't understand.
How do they know?
They got recognized for what I think is really squat, and I did all this and nobody even knows. And I'm not saying that people are doing it for recognition, because for the most part, they're not. But it can be confusing. How do you pick what to recognize?
And then how do we know, like you said, you're not in the school, how do we know we're not missing something? How do we know? Yeah.
I wouldn't have a clue who the government does. I really wouldn't. However, I did send somebody a email because I did know that person had done a really good job in a particular area, because I knew that was coaching. And I don't know in the classroom.
I think it would have to be like a whole staff recognition, like the staff got all these kids to come to school and then had great attendance rate month. Or the staff got math scores to go from here to here. You know, that's not a one person.
I guess what I'm trying to get at, I guess my end goal is, you know, as a board member, I feel like we're not here to be put on a pedestal. We're here to serve the community and serve the teachers and their hard work. So I want that to be our legacy that we leave behind, in the sense of here for you. No, you don't need to put us on a pedestal. We're here for you, right? So how do we spread that message? It doesn't have to be through the recognition, but that was just the one idea that I had, because they did such a great job, right? Yeah. It's amazing. Really good stuff.
I've been trying to count 7 for him. Just to slow it down.
Your thoughts?
I got some.
I interrupt. I'm trying to be 7.
How
Yeah.
self-reflective for?
I need to thank you for recognizing. I think that, like, what did you like about it, right? Like, it was on message. We talked about the end of the year, we want to increase attendance. So it's like, all right, let's figure this out. And the staff, the administration all went out, and the elementary school, boom, first one, here's how we're doing on attendance. We said that was an important number goal. Middle school, boom, here we go, right? high school, I imagine we'll see the same type of presentation, report, data. Okay, great. Now we're halfway through the year. This is the progress we've made to date. We're entering into a budget cycle. That could be part of that recognition piece. Hey, we've asked you guys to come this far. To my point, I made the same point before. We did it on with just creativity and effort and everything else. Like, here's our obligation to all of you now to find a way to keep giving you resources so that you can take it to that next step, right? So we've done the attendance. How do we map that across to some of the people that are interviewing here is overall performance? Like, how are we starting to see that return now on reading scores and the math scores, on everything else? And then if we're not, okay, great. Like, what are we doing about that too? So I like it. I also like that we're presenting out on it because it bridges that gap of communication that Derek was talking about with like what is going on? Like, what are, or maybe it wasn't Derek, but Kelsey, yeah, like what is that transparency? What is that information? What is it that we're actually working on? And that's a really good way of doing it. Maybe not in 60 slides, but like there is a message there that I think we are communicating whether or not we realize it, whether we realize it or not. And I think that's a good opportunity to show that, like, if they're coming up, but they should also be comfortable being like, yeah, this is how far we came here, but we came up short on this side. Like, and that's okay. Like, we came up short on this one. Well, what do we need to do to not next? So I didn't really answer your question, but I like that we're doing it because at least it is getting that message out and showing that they are doing such a good job on this thing we asked them to do. Like, put that out there at the beginning and they're just doing it.
No, we're giving their report, we're giving them
And I-
time to
yeah.
go off there.
Right.
I think showing up at the, the breakfast, at the end of the year barbecue. And showing up to those kind of things as much as we can in our schedules allow.
Well, and I'll look at it from a different perspective. What if the board was able to say, hey, look, just what you said, you were right on track on the goals that we said were a priority. We'd like to fund ice cream for all of this. On board, that kind of thing. I think teachers would appreciate that as much as an individual teacher being recognized for something.
What if it's an ice cream party for the staff who can take, and I think that's what you were trying to get at, right? How do we recognize this? Yeah.
Well, see, I feel like if we would be recognizing the staff, because let's face it, most of the staff would rather see the kids get ice cream than they have themselves. That's just.
That's why they're better people than we
I looked at those. The cart would come around and it's like, oh, I know what you really think of this. Here you are trying to poison us with donuts again. You're hoping that we eat a lot of donuts and die. Okay. Okay,
Apples.
I'm being extreme,
Right.
but it was like, okay, you brought donuts around. Thanks. I appreciate the effort, but it's just, donut didn't mean anything to me, but if we were giving something to the kids, it did.
So
I mean, maybe it's just me.
wellness program, right?
Yeah.
That's something for a teacher, right? Or they've done for themselves, right? And we are like,
We're making
well,
sure there's funding.
we're,
Funding
yeah,
for it.
so we prioritize funding. So is there something we do, another thing for the staff? We prioritize their funding for, that's another something, but it's not just for one staff member, it's not teacher of the month, it is. You guys have done a great job, you've done all the things we've asked, and we've met these goals. Here is XYZ, right? I don't know what XYZ is or what it means or anything like that, but it's kind of like how do we, recognize them, right? What are we gonna do to do that? What
Are any of those performance metrics ever written into the contract?
give the kid,
This is just a very like the questions. I think that's what, when I hear that, like I look at it from the private sector standpoint.
bonus, right? The cash bonus.
Sure, like performance metrics and everything else. And I know it's years out and that has to be written into contracts and everything else. I'm just curious, like, is that something we want to continue that dialogue with? Or something like that. Hey, we get it up to something reasonable, we all agree on it, and it's 3 versus 4 or. I don't know if that's the thing.
Historically,
Historically not.
yeah, historically, school districts have, their salary schedules, based in collective bargaining agreements that are not performance-based
Right.
on, student performance or anything like that. So, well,
It's challenging.
it's challenging
Yeah.
and it has been, there's been some districts in other states where they've done that and
It's very complicated.
it's very complicated. And I would not recommend that because it can send a really mixed message. So, we do have a set way to, with collective bargaining, with how wages are negotiated and then a system for how people can move on the salary schedule based on their experience and education. So there's a very established system for that.
What if they ask them? If how they appreciate recognition. These are a good question, yeah.
You know what they would want, the extra day off.
Top three.
A lot.
I mean, that's.
Would be a variety of answers.
Yeah.
I just think if we keep, having them be able to present their successes or, what challenges at board meetings. Keep showing up for them. Show up and do the barbecue stuff.
I think they have a
Come
wellness.
around things.
They
Come
have,
to a wellness.
yeah, they were super excited in a couple of times that I went to wellness, and the painting thing, and the thing. I also don't want it to feel like I'm going to things because there are things, but I'm going because I want to support them. So I hope that's also, that being there is to show my appreciation.
You could even go to. Having worked with these institutions, you could even go to an assembly and simply lay out, stand up and talk about the progress that the kids are making. And thank the staff for working so hard to get to get the kids getting there, and thank the kids for buying into the process. And I'm not articulating it well, but make a public show. Here's an assembly. It's short, it's quick, but we just want to thank everybody for all the great effort and how let them know how much it's paying off and how much the board sees that it's happening. That never happens. Nobody ever does it.
I'm very happy to do that.
And the power of thank you is amazing.
And as many board members as possible be there.
Yeah.
You could also do that during a staff meeting. I mean, the buildings have staff meetings once a month, so.
I'd like to
I
do
think
it
it's
in
powerful with the
front of
kids.
That'd be great.
That
Say
their
it's
teachers are getting recognized for doing. their
cheap,
jobs.
the teachers.
They're
are
doing
recognized.
great. The kids are doing great.
Yeah,
That's
that's
great.
great.
Teachers are
And the
doing
kids
great.
are doing it. It's all everybody. Anyway, another thought. Off the top of my head.
Graduation's another spot where you have a lot of parents, like teachers, so it's. I mean, we already recognized our seniors. I know that that's their space. We're supposed to recognize that now, but I was just thinking, it's like, I like the assembly. Where
I like
it's
the
just that,
assembly idea.
where it's just that.
And it's our time, it's pretty valuable.
Do we have a assembly where everybody was there or?
No, we didn't have
multiple
multiple
assemblies?
But
The elementary has assemblies as well.
Yeah.
It's-
They still have.
They split them because of schools.
You know,
They
it's
do
like-
the
Well,
rules of
the
the
board after this and then.
I think at elementary, they split
And,
them
you know,
because they don't have
a
a
space,
space.
right? Yeah, well, that's what I imagine.
Every
Yeah.
one.
It's something like 4 assemblies.
Because,
that's
acknowledging that
Well, they just.
When you're done with agenda item, I have one more.
For specific. Yeah.
I say we look into the assembly.
Yeah.
Leslie has something else.
I see that I have an email from Justin Whitaker. and he apologizes for the late notice. He has respectfully requested that we withdraw his application as some work things have changed for him, and he doesn't think it would be a good fit at this time.
Okay. Well,
No needs listing.
and remove Justin from our agenda and hope he is. Possible to be better, thank you for applying.
Then we're three.
And number 3, okay, so. We are finished with our interviews. And we have one more agenda item. School reports. Brian, you kind of brought this up about written reports versus verbal reports from our administrators at board meetings.
Yes, I was saying.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna. Yes, you're done.
You go home.
She's like, and I'm like, yeah.
They were hanging out there.
It's just a stay the whole time.
Is it here?
This is in light of the time during our board meetings, right? Because we spend a lot of time at board meetings, a couple hours. So this was the something that could possibly shorten them up a little bit. And that is school reports that are written like from our principals, from our union, and anybody else that would give a report each time, right? Would it be easier for them to have it written before the meeting, go over the report, then if we want to ask them some questions of their report? Do we want to, then we can bring it up during the meeting, as opposed to just listening to, each school say, hey, and it is nice to have like, hey, this is what we're doing this week, this is what we're doing this month, right? That is nice, but it would be easier in a report and kind of speed things up. For our meetings. That's kind of, it is nice to hear from, but they'd still be reporting to us. It
Right.
would just be written instead of going in front of the board and then.
And how does it then become part of the public record if somebody wants to come to a meeting or tune in,
I believe it would be on our agenda.
I imagine that it would be in the information area on the agenda. So we would ask them to submit their written reports by certain date. Those documents would be attached to the agenda, so anyone
So all the
could
information.
reference them.
I had just in passing mentioned it to one of the administrators, they thought it'd be great because it would speed the meeting up. If they had other things, they wouldn't have to be there. Like if there was a basketball game or they had a music concert or something where they needed to be present, they could be there instead of the business meeting, which, isn't really for our it is for our administration staff, but it is for us to do the business of the school district, right? So, I see both sides of why we do it.
Hearing from them,
Okay.
being able to ask questions. I can understand if there is an event that they need to be, then they should submit a written report like Mary Ellen does
So-
at Cambridge Academy.
I'm sorry, I should count this.
But I kind of personally like hearing. We're a small community, we're a small district, we don't have 7 high schools, 12 middle schools.
Yeah.
For clarification, you're talking about the routine administrative reports, not like when they come in and they have the presentation.
Right. Yeah, I'm not talking about the stuff we have a presentation about. I'm not talking about that.
You're talking about Jeff Roberts coming in and kind of trying to dance around the fact that the student representative has already kind of
Just gave
said
his report.
pretty much what's going on in the high school, and he adds to it.
And I'd say we leave that presentation with our student, because that's one of the important ones. I think we need to hear from our student.
And just as a side note, Ella could not make it tonight, but we did invite her to.
Oh, okay.
So just so you know, she had.
I can
should have mentioned
almost,
that earlier.
I can almost see where you're coming from, but for me, it would need to be a hybrid model of some sort. Where they could submit, but then be there and summarize.
Yeah. Or if
then we could ask questions when they were summarizing what they talked about. They wouldn't have to go through all the stuff they wrote, just kind of highlight.
Yeah.
What do they need to emphasize instead of everything? That would That would kind of be a hybrid.
I wonder though if a hybrid is now we're giving them more. If you have to show up and you have to submit a written thing, right? It's like
I
a
suppose so.
double thing.
Yeah.
So if you've heard from one administrator, how do the other administrators feel? Could it be a time thing where it's like, it's shorter? And two, I'm afraid, not afraid, listen to it. We'll bring up the opportunity that like the union gets to kind of share things in transparency as a lot of people are asking for. Would, you know, that feel like less of an opportunity for people to speak about concerns?
I think that could be a transparency piece too, though we try to hide something. We don't want them to talk. We do want them to talk.
You know, I'm just,
Well, we did shorten it to one administrator per building. They
Yeah.
all have to talk.
yeah. You know, this was just brought up and then, you know, the administrator, like, yeah, that'd be nice. I just have to write, choose, submit it, be like, then I'm, you know, because, you know, one of our administrators doesn't like speaking in public, so like, you know, she said this would be great for me. And then, you know, some of them are like, you know, I'm fine with it, but this would definitely, if I didn't have to be in a meeting and I could be at the other place I'm supposed to be at, this would be great. You know, I mean, you know, I wonder if, you know, and I haven't asked the union reps if they would love to give a written thing, you know, to the board as opposed to going out and speaking in front of the board every time.
Would you like me to ask them?
Sure.
I was just gonna say, maybe we should.
So I mean, that's where I haven't,
Maybe we should-
this is just the infancy of the thought, right? Like, what is, it's my
Yeah.
thoughts, like, could this, you know, when we have serious subjects, then we can really take the time out and not be like, oh, we've already been here 2 hours, it's like, oh, you know, then we can, you know, I'm trying to get our business done sooner, so then we can talk about maybe more things that we can talk about it.
I'm happy to
Yeah.
ask them. I'll ask the leadership team and then I'll also ask the union, you know, meet them every month and I'll ask.
Yeah, let's circle back. I just would never, I just don't wanna add more work to their plates. That's all. They do a lot and they work very hard.
I'll ask them one or the other what they prefer.
So I have a lot of value when they are talking to us. I think it's probably less work if they're coming up and saying, hey, today Jeff Roberts comes up, yep, Ella said a lot, and this, right? So it's quick and short. I think where we can find, if we're looking for efficiency and for us to actually do work, maybe it's the presentations, because they do give it to us ahead of time. So perhaps they can shorten that presentation that they're providing us, and that's where we find the time that we need to work. Those presentations can be pretty lengthy.
Yeah, some of them are required, like they have to go through all these things. That's part of they are, they're lengthy. But that's something too, you know, one of my personal goals this year is efficiency. I'm trying to be more efficient, you know, organization, things like that. So this is one of my, you know, let's be a little more efficient. Maybe, you know, but, you know, I just wanted to bring it up to everybody else as a thought. See if it's something we want to, you know, ask some more questions, ask some people if they would like to do it, and, you know, everybody's on board. I mean, we have all obviously, you know, board, but if you all like them communicating at the meetings, I think that's great.
I'm not sure I like them all communicating at the meetings, you know, when you say like. But I don't see submitting it in writing necessarily as working out very well.
Like the thoughts popped up with your hybrid, thinking hybrid, what I went to was like, they could submit the report, but if. In general, submit a report, but if they really needed or wanted to speak at the meeting, they could do that. Or two, would it be enough for us to hear one report a month? Like high school, middle school, tree, or is that too far apart?
They're not that long.
Or used to work twice a month.
Yeah.
And you've got it down to once a month, and then it becomes a report every third month.
Right.
It's like,
I mean, I do also find value in it. So, I mean, but if there's a way to support less time, because maybe their time could be better used somewhere else. It would be a different kind of model, but still allowing them opportunities to speak. That's important.
Well, and only one administrator for the building
Yeah.
has to speak, so if you need to be somewhere.
And the other one can count, yeah.
There's some flexibility there. And let's face it, we're only going to hear good things.
That's true.
No administrator is going to show up and say, man, did things just go to hell in a handbasket in our school? I mean, nobody, I always marveled when I was part of that system and knew that there were things going on in the particular building I was working in that we were struggling with some things once in a while. And that's not what got reported to the board. Everything was great because it'd be nuts to go in and say, I don't know if we're gonna get through this. That's not gonna-
So we make them feel comfortable in it.
I just don't
I don't
think
think
that's,
it's about comfort.
I don't think the nature of the.
Plus,
business-
it's not necessarily the school board's purview for day-to-day things. That is why we hire.
Right,
our
that's Susan's
superintendent.
job.
She
Oh, yeah,
has-
yeah, absolutely.
Right, so
And
it's
you're
not
all-
nec- it's not necessarily what we are.
But you could make the same argument about all the good things that are going on. It's really not our purview to sit and go, those are good or bad. I'm just saying, we all need to kind of keep in mind, we're only going to hear the good stuff. And that's not an indictment of anybody. I'm not,
That's okay too, we need to hear.
we do need to hear the good stuff, and we do need to know good things are going on. Because truly, if anything's really, really bad going on, we're going to hear about it.
Eventually.
It won't be necessarily from them, but yeah, we'll hear about it from somewhere.
Okay, so do you still want me to ask them?
Tell them there's no guarantee on what their choice.
Do you want to give them a choice if they?
I wanna just ask, like, should we be more prescriptive? To Brian's point, our point is. We wanna be available to do the business that we're required to do and maximize lifetime. If there's no value in those reports, either for us or for them, then we can do two things, like reduce them or be more prescriptive on what it is that we should be hearing, right? And I think that that's what you get to shape that conversation, obviously. So should it be more prescriptive? And if it was more prescriptive, would that help them out? Because it isn't super helpful when they're over there just jotting it down on their post-it note right before they have to speak, because they've got stuff going on all day and they're like, well, crap, I gotta report out to the board tonight. Like, let me just, this is what's going on. Like, that's not in their best interest. It's not in our best interest. So would that be more helpful to them? I think is a good question that I would put back.
Especially during the-
That's also part of this, is it gonna help our administration, like, in this process.
Well, we can tell them,
Maybe have
this is
it-
what I wanna
What we
hear.
wanna hear.
Right. This is what we're hearing every month.
Yeah.
But I don't, to your point, I'm not sure that's,
And, you know, I'm not gonna have more time on meetings.
I would just
We could do one last
Yeah,
meeting.
ask them how they feel about giving a written report, but it would have to be due at a certain. To Leslie at a certain time, so she can get it on the agenda
That could be, you know, the
versus.
third, usually get out Thursday before, right? That's the Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know that schedule is kind of, yeah,
But it's usually.
I know that sometimes you're,
Thursday.
yeah, I know that sometimes you're.
It does
Got a lot
put
of
us in a
things.
position where if they just submit a written report and don't come to the meeting, we can't really ask them questions. Right.
Well, that would be us doing our homework a little bit, you know, like,
So I'll get their feedback.
Get their feedback.
Yeah.
see.
I've
But
also
tell them
written
no
down-
guarantees.
I've also written down about, the reports, that are given to, encourage them to shorten those.
and the year reports, I think that.
I'm talking about the reports, like the school, you know, the achievement reports and.
Oh,
And you know, like this month, Jay's gonna come and do the special education report, so. All right,
Okay, anything else?
There we go.
Come before the board?
can. Ask you a question, you did open idea with one that I should. I want to yell at. We received the email about walkout. And than there was currently a walkout on Friday. And I had a concerned person. So I think that if we could get more clarity on what the policy is, would be helpful. In anticipation, because I asked my daughter, like, hey, is this planned? She's like, I don't heard anything about it. She's pretty well dialed in. So I don't want to have this discussion now. What should it be? What shouldn't it be? Like, I got that. But I would like clarity on what the policy is.
So we do have a
If this
policy.
follows- Yeah.
We do have a policy on it, and I prepared information to send out to students about that. And I will also send that to you guys.
Hey, that brings up a real good point. Should we have policy handbooks? Should we have a copy of the board policies? I don't have a copy of the board policies.
They're all on the website.
Oh,
We used to have the big one.
In your binder, you have the policies printed out that are like pertinent to board,
pertinent to board,
to
yes.
the board,
I've
but
read
all,
those.
yeah, all of our school board policies
Of
are
course, of
posted.
I'm.
And they're searchable, keywords, that they're like quite easy. There's a lot, so sometimes it's hard to find things, but they are searchable.
Okay.
And.
I
that
just remember
makes
when
it easy.
I used to go through them and.
Yeah.
and
I got one of those.
There-
I got one of those.
For anyone old school, I have a binder up front.
No, I don't mind doing.
All
I don't mind doing the web, it was just my old
One
thing that I
copy
thought,
of it.
I remember it's.
Easy
Remember
search.
to
It's
make
like
it
you
easy.
just- Yeah.
They've done a good job of getting the information out regarding like policies and everything else. This is another, I think, iteration of that will be good to just continue to push out.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Question, so the next step of this is gonna be
Yes.
the.
Yeah, what are the next steps?
Yes, so at the board meeting on the 17th, this will be an action item and, because this is a work session, so no decision being made tonight. And so during the regular board meeting, someone will need to come forward and make a recommendation. And, if that is seconded, then people will vote. If the recommendation is not seconded, then a new recommendation will be needed.
We can discuss after a motion's been made. So we can make a
Exactly.
motion to,
And seconded.
and second it
So make a motion
to
to pick somebody.
Mhm.
and to then discuss, and then we can vote.
Then we can talk.
Yeah,
about
then we can talk.
It's a Gerhart position, so at the board meeting, you want me to make the first recommendation?
Sure. You're hard guy.
Anybody can make a recommendation.
Don't be leading us.
Wow.
That's a bit much. Okay, so.
We live in that.
So
zone.
take our notes,
Mhm.
internal
Yeah.
discussion, not anywhere
Right.
else.
Right.
Come with ready to go.
Yeah.
We discuss,
Yeah.
got it.
I'm prepared.
Okay.
And then we'll make a nomination, nominate somebody after all of this.
Yes.
But don't expect me.
Yeah, you're doing it.
No. Got shut down.
Hey, whoever jumps in there first.
Thank you, everyone, for this later evening meeting, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie.